These things are expected. Ranger of Eos! Oh, no. Yeah, that's brutal. Oh, my goodness. They get another Giant Killer and a Soul Warden. Greetings, everyone. I am glad to be here, and I am glad that you are here. Today's jank is in Historic, and we are playing some Master Trinketeer, folks. I love this card. Anything that can be on board and allow me to make additional creatures just has a really soft spot in my heart. Oftentimes, you don't even have the mana to do it anymore, right? But I just loved it. Going back all the way to, what was that called? Mesa something or other, where you could make Pegasuses way back in the day, right? And you had to sacrifice a Pegasus every turn. Wasn't even that great, but darn it, I loved it. And Master Trinketeer fills that role for me here. What are we doing, though? Servos and Thopters you control get +1/+1, and you can create servos. Okay, obvious. We're going to start doing artifact shenanigans. So, the first ones that jump to mind are Tempered Steel and Steel Overseer. We've seen these things in the past. The things you may not have seen in the past, because they just recently came out, are Chief of the Foundry, artifact creatures you control get +1/+1, and Metallic Mimic. When it enters, choose a creature type. Metallic Mimic is the chosen type in addition to other types. Each creature you control of the chosen type enters with a 1/1 counter. So, folks, keep in mind, this is great for any tribals. You want to build a Minotaur tribal deck? Metallic Mimic, name Minotaur. You want to build Rogue Tribal and maybe the not quite there yet? Name Rogues. In particular, this is very good because of Una's Blackguard, right? Very, very strong card. And here is no different. The other things we're going to be doing are a little bit of Thopters with Tezzeret and Dovin, because Trinketeer also helps those. Tempered Steel also helps those, and so does Steel Overseer help those. Notably, Chief of the Foundry just says artifact creatures, so most of our synergies also benefit there as well. Another one of our key synergies, obviously going to be 3 Anointed Procession for doubling up those tokens that can be made by Dovin and Tezzeret. Notably, it hasn't mattered in the past before, because the servos that Saheeli makes out of War of the Spark, you know, they hadn't been tremendously relevant in Standard because, darn it, there weren't other servo synergies. Now that we have Master Trinketeer, there are. The other ways of making servos, though, are going to be Sram's expertise. 4 mana, make 3 servos. But wait, there's more, as they say. You may cast a spell, converted mana cost, 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost when you cast Sram's expertise. So, you can cast something like Metallic Mimic, or Chief of the Foundry, or Steel Overseer, or Tempered Steel, or Dovin, all without paying their mana costs, not to mention Saheeli, or Master Trinketeer, or Servo Expedition. Of course, Servo Expedition create 2 colorless servo artifacts, so if you cast Sram's expertise and Servo Expedition, that's 5 1/1s. Folks, that's a lot of 1/1s. That's a lot of 1/1s, and particularly in this deck where they're likely to be a lot more than that. Either they'll be doubled up, or they'll be bigger than 1/1s in some variety or another. Yeah. So the only other thing here, we do have one at Inventors Fair. We could have a few more. We are regularly going to be triggering the life gain on it, and that is kind of nice in the more aggressive matchups. But right now, I'm not super concerned about it. A lot of the more aggressive matchups are just like Aetherworks Marvel shenanigans and stuff. But if you're watching this video, let's say a couple of weeks into the future, where the meta's kind of settled down, and there's more Gruul, and there's more Mono Red, things like that, yeah, maybe some more Inventors Fair. But I think for now, we're going to go ahead and take this out for a spin. Why don't you join me? All right, folks, here we are up against Dams, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep this. Opponent leads on an animation module. Oh my goodness, opponent, I love it. I love it. There is going to be some animation module on this very channel here in the not too distant future, folks, because that is a wonderful, wonderful card. But for now, we're just going to keep doing our thing. It's going to be on Servos. Servo. Yep. And pass that turn. Opponent, Hallowed Priest. Gonna come down, gain a life, get a 1/1 counter. Trigger animation module, but can't pay. Oh boy, here we go. Yep. Enters tapped. We're gonna go with Servo again. Yep. And of course, Metallic Mimic itself is a shapeshifter, so it counts as a Servo, right? And, you know, it is the chosen type in addition to other types, right? So, going to do the thing. Well, folks, I am a greedy man. I know this. I have been accused of far worse, but darn it, I want to have it all. You know what I mean? Even if that means losing it all. I can accept that. All right, everything happens. All of the things happen. Hallowed Priest becomes a 5/5. Ajani's Pridemate, a 4/4. Well, we're going to Sram's Expertise and cast a Master Trinketeer as well. No attacks. We now have 6 Servos, ladies and gents. And next turn, we're gonna get even more, darn it. We're going for the gold on these. Apparently, Dams does not have the required interaction to stop all of this. But for those that were curious, Servo Expedition does add 2 1/1 servos, right? So these are going to produce 4 each. We were going to add 8 servos next turn, and considering Master Trinketeer, you can pay 4, add a servo. You know, you just get a 1/1 servo. Keep in mind, these servos are going to be 4/4s. So just every turn, we get to add 1. But Anointed Procession means we add 2, right? We are going to get a lot of value. And apparently our opponent does not have board sweepers that would be required to get themselves out of this mess. So, GG, opponent, GG. Folks, oh boy, this is a slow hand if I ever did see one, but we're going to draw into good stuff, early good stuff. I'm convinced of it. 2-drop coming off the top right now, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm not sure which 2-drop, but it's going to be one we're excited about. That wasn't the one I was thinking about. As much as I expected our deck to read my mind, it did not. I don't think our deck can count. Alright, so let's Steel Overseer. Yep. And pass. Opponent has a Resplendent Angel. Aye. Alright, fine. You got it. Yep. Well, that was good. Yeah, I guess we'll do this. Cast a Dovin Grand Arbiter. And make a Thopter. No, there won't be any attacks here. Opponent has the Glass Casket. That's really annoying. Alright. Well, fine. Yep. Annoying, but not unexpected. Resplendent Angel. Oh, Sarah Ascendant. That's scary. Resplendent Angel going to get in at Dovin. We will not be defending it. Well, folks, we did not want to keep drawing lands. We need token producers. We have quite a few. But we've got to get the Anointed Procession down before the Dovin here. Because we can't really defend the Dovin very well against the Resplendent Angel until we have the Anointed Procession on board. Nope, you got it. We will drop to 13. Opponent, thinking things over, casts another Sarah Ascendant. Alright, you got it. Oh boy, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, Dovin Grand Arbiter. Gonna go on down. Yep. And we're just gonna go ahead and Tempered Steel. Make some 4/4s. Yep. Opponent has Giant Killer. That was not what I was expecting. All right, so we're going to get in with those. Our opponent now confronted with very difficult trade options. Trying to decide who they might be willing to give up on. It looks like a Sarah Ascendant and another Sarah Ascendant. Okay, they will go up to 24. Sure. All right, Johnny's Pride Mate grows up to a 6/6. These things are expected. Ranger of Eos! Oh, no. Yeah, that's brutal. Oh, my goodness. They get another Giant Killer and a Soul Warden. Holy... Oh, boy. Well, our opponent can get good draws. So can we. So we're just going to casually present lethal. Whole bunch of it in the air. But our opponent can just chump here once. It will make their Speaker of Heavens basically useless, so they might as well chump twice, which they decide to do. They drop to 8. Fine. Opponent does get a counter onto Ajani's Pride Mate. Giant Killer going to be able to kill one of our Thopters. This is acceptable, but not intimidating. Yeah, they don't even bother. Oh no, they do. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that the math doesn't check out here, and our opponent figured that out. Scoops it up. GG, opponent, GG. It wasn't looking great for a minute, but boy oh boy, once it got going, that hand was a doozy. So good times, and good game, opponent, good game. All right, folks. We are up against Fire Dog Boys. Good luck, Fire Dog Boys, and we are going to hang on to this. Lead on Steel Overseer into either of these, depending on what our opponent does. Oh boy, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, still going to be Steel Overseer, unfortunately, but geez. Mono red against this particular hand, kind of not great. We will need to keep hitting our land drops. Oh boy, okay, yeah. No, this is all... Oh boy, this is great. Yes. Holy cow. Well, we're going to Chief of the Foundry for sure. And pass right now. Likely going to be giving counters here. I can't envision a scenario where we don't. Yep. I think they're going to respond by killing Steel Overseer. But, you know, what do you do? Yep. This is to be expected and fine. Loses Indestructible. Wow. That's unexpected. So let's just Metallic Mimic while they're tapped out. Kind of nice. On Servo, actually. Yep. And make some Servo Exhibition tokens. And you know what? We're just going to get in. Our opponent doesn't have good blocks here. And both of these are pretty high value targets, but we don't want to block with either one of them unless we can avoid it. Or as long as we can avoid it. But right now, on board, our attacks are much better than their attacks. Oh, they did nothing? Well, yeah. Their situation continues to devolve. And we're gonna get in immediately. Admittedly, their blocks are a little better this time because they have untapped mana, right? So it's likely they can interact with some number of our things. But, we have a very robust board for mono red to be able to handle. Yeah. That doesn't shrink any of the creatures, though, right? Killing off Metallic Mimic is going to be key, but yeah, if you kill off Chief of the Foundry, then all of the other creatures shrink. But Metallic Mimic only gives 1/1 counters, right? So the 1/1 counters are already there. They stay. You're still taking heaps and heaps of damage, right? And that's why it was such an awkward position for the opponent. And one of the really strong points about Metallic Mimic is that the counters stay. They only show up in advance, or, you know, for creatures that come, or as long as Metallic Mimic was cast in advance. But anyone that comes down after it, the counters stay even after it goes. You know, when Master Trinketeer dies, or when Chief of the Foundry dies, the +1/+1 goes away. Not so a Metallic Mimic. So again, opponent seeing the writing on the wall and just goes, you know what? It's not worth it. Let's move on to the next game. And I understand that position, opponent. Good game. All right, folks, we are back, and oh my goodness, was this a lot of fun. I will admit, we did end up losing more games than we won. By 1 game, I think, maybe 2 games. I would have to go back and look at the notes. But had a little bit of bad luck. I think part of it is that we're playing a deck that's like not very favorable, because so many people are currently prepared for the mono brown deck. If you have not played against the mono brown deck, you have not yet experienced the historic metagame. It's very strong, and I think it's gotten stronger, ladies and gents. Since everybody's prepared for it, you know, we ran into some main deck wilt and stuff. Feels bad. But on that juncture, though, we were in every game. We weren't blown out even once, I don't think. I don't think so. And we did win pretty handily in a couple of matchups. So definitely a lot of fun. I am looking forward to playing this deck some more. I had a great time. Some things I might change. I don't know. I think the Tezzeret might have been a little slow for historic right now. So these might be able to be something else. The Anointed Processions were very, very good when they came down. We didn't see them very often in our games, so I don't know. It could just be we want to be a little more aggressive. So one of the places you might go that might be worthwhile would be the Hope of Ghirapur. 1 mana, 1/1 flying. You can sacrifice it until your next turn. Target player who was dealt damage by Hope of Ghirapur this turn can't cast non-creature spells. So if you're getting in at your opponent and it's quite obvious they're casting Rogue Refiners and stuff like that, oh, you're gonna get me with a Aetherworks Marvel or whatever, you might just be able to, you know, hit them a little bit, and when they're going to have the mana for it, just sacrifice Hope of Ghirapur and buy yourself another turn. It's also notable that this just works with the game plan, right? It is a Thopter, so Master Trinketeer grows it. So does the Tempered Steel. So does the Chief of the Foundry. So does Steel Overseer. And potentially so does Mimic, depending on what you name. So I think it actually might be an entirely reasonable name for anywhere up to and including all 4, potentially, just for curve considerations. So if we cut the Tezzeret, I could see a scenario where these would have been good. And in some of the games, I think that would bear it out. Notably, we didn't get any servos from Saheeli. I think part of that's just the way the games worked. It also might be maybe she wasn't worth it. I was really excited about this interaction. It just didn't seem to work out very well. So it's possible you might be able to cut some of these here. Maybe if you just went like 4 here and 2 here, the deck gets more aggressive, but also has some additional draws there. I know some people are going to be tempted to do like Master Thopterist, but in this build, I don't think there's enough artifacts. There is a way we could do that. Potentially going up to another Chief of the Foundry wouldn't be a bad deal. Wouldn't be a bad deal to get some more Metallic Mimics in either. So we could go up to 4, up to 4. So then there would be 4, 8, 12, 16 main deck artifacts. You'd have to come down somewhere else, so probably either Anointed Processions or Servo Exhibitions, and maybe some of both. So like go down all of these, go down one of these, add like 2 size, and maybe some more artifacts. I could see that being okay. Notably, Ornithopter is a Thopter as well. Who would have guessed? And if you're going really aggressive, I think there is a Tempered Steel build here that would have that. I don't know that Anointed Procession belongs in that deck. So maybe if you were to pull all of these like this, and then put in some of these, maybe that would open the door for Psy or something. I don't know. But there is definitely a couple of ways of building it that I think would be objectively fine. I was not excited about Tezzeret. I think the games were just wrapped up so quickly, and that could just be metagame the way it's currently bearing out. So either way, man, I did have a great time, and I would love your input on how to make this better, because I think it's pretty close, honestly. And considering we were at, you know, we had to be above 40% win rate. I don't know, probably closer to 45. I don't think we made 50 though. I do think we lost more than we won. I would have to look at the notes. Maybe with just tweaking a couple of cards, we might get there. You know, that might be the extra 3 to 5 to 8% win rate that we would need to get this over the hump and be able to climb even as far as Mythic or whatever with it, you know? Because I do think it's relatively strong, and it was just a ton of fun to play. I'm not gonna lie. I had a blast, folks. So let me know. Let me know what you think down below. And tell me how we might change it. We're probably gonna play this some on the stream tonight. I think it might be in addition to the stipulation. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/johnlikesgames. Come on out and see me, folks. It has been a revelation for me on a personal level, just how much fun I could have hanging out with all these strangers on the internet. My interactions with strangers on the internet before this had been in places like League of Legends and even World of Warcraft, in like when, you know, you're doing pickup groups and raids and stuff with strangers. Almost exclusively hostile, you know, where people just were not very friendly. That is not the case on Twitch, and at least not in my Twitch. I don't know, maybe other places. I can't speak for other streamers, but darn it, the group is great. Very welcoming. People have a lot of fun. Admittedly, they troll me a little bit, but I have a great time, and I just love for you folks to come out and join us. I think you might have a great time as well. So please do that. It's also notable, liking and subscribing and stuff. It doesn't take long. Just hit that little thumb up, and it helps the channel a lot. That's how YouTube knows to recommend my video. So if you could do that, that would really help me, and I'd appreciate it. Either way, though, I will catch you next time.